Hey everybody, this is your boy Ruben coming back to you with another Good Grief Friday. I was just thinking this week going back to my childhood, and when I lived in South Dallas for a couple of years, going to St. Anthony, and I lived at Gigi's house. So some of you know who Gigi is, but my aunts Ricky McNeil and Vernesia McNeil Allen. They would get me and Jabo, my cousin, and be like, hey, we're gonna go out to eat this weekend, so save y'all allowance so that y'all will be able to buy your food, because I ain't buying you nothing. That's what they would tell us. And many of you who know Vanessa, she meant that, right? Well, I remember one time we went out to eat. We had enough money to pay for our food, but we were short on buying our drink. And I can't remember what restaurant we went to, but we were excited. So we were like, man, well, we're short on our drink, but we got the money for the food. So me and Jabo kept thinking, well, why don't, she just go ahead and buy our drinks? And then since we already did what she asked us to do, saved our allowance, and we were able to pay for our food, at least just bless us because of our obedience and pay for our drinks. And she said, no, I'm not paying for your drinks. She said, because y'all had plenty of time to save money and do all this. So I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna do? So she said, well, ask the waitress to bring you a plate full of lemons. And I was like, man, well, what are we gonna do with these lemons? And she said, hey, just get some other ingredients and you take those lemons and you can make lemonade. And it got me to thinking as I was reminiscing on that, grief is like lemons, right? It's sour by itself. It's sour. It's kind of tart. If you take a lemon and you eat it, then you kind of, how your face makes that face, it's a lemon by itself. But when you take that lemon, which is grief in this situation, and you add some sugar or sweetener, no, you may be on a health kick, but some kind of sweetener, and then you put it all together in water. Then you take that lemon that was bitter, because grief sometimes is bitter. You take that lemon, and now you've added some things to it, and now you have lemonade. So you added a sweetener, you added some water, and now you have lemonade. So my word for you today is, don't let the lemon called grief make you bitter, but take that and add something to it that can turn it into lemonade. We've all heard the phrase, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But you can't just make lemonade, you got to add something to it. So it's those lessons that I learned back then that's allowing me to kind of process what I'm going through with this grief situation right now. And I didn't know that there were lessons at the time. I just thought she was being a little mean. But in reality, she was showing me how to deal with grief, and I didn't know it. So I want to share with someone today that you've got to find that sweetener. What is that sweetener? That sweetener can be that memory of what your loved one wanted you to be doing right now. That sweetener can be getting in your word and opening up the word of God and trying to figure out what God is saying for your life in this season. That sweetener could be linking up with a counselor. Someone can help you process your grief. That sweetener can be linking up with a real good friend that's not trying to push you too fast, but is just trying to listen and let you get it out. That sweetener could be anything. That water could be those tears that you're crying. And I know you're crying because I cry, right? So the one thing that we're going to take away from this week is, don't allow this lemon, or called grief, to just leave us sour and bitter. Let's find us a sweetener, and then we'll let our tears water our sweetener and our lemon, and before you know it, we'll have lemonade. And some of you may go the extra mile. You might throw some strawberries in there and you now say you got strawberry lemonade. But let's not allow grief to make us bitter, but we can add a sweetener, and we can add some water, and we can take this opportunity to make lemonade. That's all I got for you this week. But listen, don't forget that I got a podcast starting on Monday, December the 6th. It's gonna be fire. You can watch us on Facebook Live, or I'll make sure that I send the link out. It's gonna be on Fishbowl, the Fishbowl Radio Network. So you can go to the website there. I'll make sure it's posted, but it's going to be fire. So that podcast is going to start at 9 p.m. It's going to run for an hour, and we're going to see what God has to say. We've got some very special guests that are going to be joining us each week, and I promise you, we're going to get through this season together. God bless. Y'all have a good weekend, make it count. And I look forward to seeing you Monday at 9 p.m. for the newest podcast that's coming. It's called Good Grief Fridays on a Monday. Be blessed.